In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a dedicated domain so all of the emails that are sent from your business center appear to come from your business instead of SWIMO. So real quick, just show you a high-level view of what a dedicated domain is. This domain transmits your business's automated marketing and bulk emails instead of sending emails through a shared third-party server like help@swimo.ai. So in a nutshell, if you do not set up a dedicated domain using this video, then your marketing emails will actually come from SWIMO instead of your business. So how do we set one up? Here in your business center, you're going to click on settings, and then you're going to look for email services. Then we're going to click on dedicated domain and IP. And when you do, your screen will likely be blank. These are all the dedicated domains that we've set up. So as soon as you've set one up, you'll have one of these boxes on your screen. So we'll click on Add Domain. And here's where we set up what's called a subdomain. So let me go back. This is considered a subdomain. This is your domain. This first part here makes it a subdomain. So we need to create a subdomain. And it doesn't really matter what you choose this first word to be, because we're going to come back into the settings and we'll actually update this to appear as a legitimate email address. And we'll also change the name that recipients see when they receive an email from you. So I'm just going to do something like martin.swimo.ai, and then I'm going to click Add and Verify. Now this is where it splits into different groups. If you have purchased your domain through GoDaddy, it makes this process 10 times easier, because HighLevel, the software that we use to develop this business center for you, integrates directly with GoDaddy. If you don't use GoDaddy, or you didn't purchase your domain through GoDaddy, then you will have to manually add each one of these records into your domain provider. And I'll show you how to do that. First, let's just go ahead and, oh shoot. Okay, so I clicked out of that before I should have, so I need to actually add something else in. So we'll do this. You're going to follow the prompts, click continue. And this will take several seconds to set up the domain and actually connect. Once it does, it will identify that you have purchased your primary domain. In our case, it's swimo.ai through GoDaddy. And so I can click Authorize Domain. And in the background, it's connecting to GoDaddy. I'll click Connect. It will likely ask you to log in. I'm already logged into our GoDaddy account, so I didn't actually have to go through the login process. But you can see that domain is now added to Lead Connector, which is part of HighLevel. So you can close out of that. All of these records were automatically added to our domain in GoDaddy, and now it just takes 5 minutes or so for those records to update and actually verify. So you can click on the Verify Domain down here and see the status of those records. And in this case, it worked out pretty well. We're going to come back here, give it a few more minutes for this SSL to update. And in the meantime, I'm going to show you how to change the name and email of this dedicated domain. So what you want to do is click on these 3 dots in the top left corner, and then you're going to select Set Headers. Here you can set the name that recipients will see when they receive an email from you. So I might do Martin from SWIMO. You could do just your business name, you could do your full name, whatever you want people to see. And then here we're actually going to set the email address that people will see when they receive the email. So I'm just going to do martin@swimo.ai. And then I'll click Save. And now when I go down here to the dedicated domain that I set up, we can see those details have been updated. One more step I would have you check is up at the top, click on Domain Configuration. And then down here at the default dedicated domain, make sure that that is set to the dedicated domain that you just created. In our case, it would be this lee.swimo.ai. So what that means is every email that is sent from the business center will come from this domain that you just set up, and all of the recipients will see this information. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to add those records manually if you're not using GoDaddy. So I'm actually going to click on Add Domain at the top again, and then here, I'm just going to make something up, mailgun.swimo.ai, click Add and Verify. And in this case, we're actually going to have to click Add Records manually. So it's giving us all the records that we need to include. I'm going to go to GoDaddy in our case. In your case, you might be going to Square, you might be going to HostGator, wherever you purchased your domain. And once you do, you want to find where you can manage your domain. So we'll click Manage Domain. And then DNS records is what you're looking for. So we need to find where we can add, edit, and update DNS records. And that will allow us to add a new record. So I'll click Add Record. I'm going to go back to the Business Center, and the first record I need to add is a TXT. And then in the host box, I need to add this record. In the required value box, I need to add this record. So I'm going to copy this, and I need to add a TXT record. So I'll go back here. And in the type of record, I'm going to find TXT. And the name, this name and host is interchangeable. So you can see here in the Business Center, it says host, and GoDaddy, it's called name. It's the same thing. I'm going to paste that. I'm going to come back to the Business Center, copy this value record, and paste it here. And then I'll click Save. So that's the first record. And then just to save on time purposes, I'll just tell you, repeat that process for each one of these records. So you add the record type, copy this value, paste it, copy this value, paste it, and so on and so forth. Once you've added those records, then you click the Verify Records button down here. Do not click this button before you've added these, otherwise you're going to get an error message and you won't be able to set up your dedicated domain correctly. So click out of that. Once you have added those records and you've clicked Verify Domain, you'll see your box pop up here in the dedicated domain screen. And you can repeat that process of clicking on the three dots, click Set Headers, and add in your information here. I'm going to go back to the domain that we previously set up. I'm going to click Verify Now. And what we want is to see all of these labels green and labeled verified. I'm going to click Verify Domain again. And we're good to go. We can see the SSL was issued, and that took approximately 5 minutes for all those records to get updated and verified. And now you are set up to start sending your emails, and you can expect the recipients to see your information instead of Swimo's.